Welcome to the Online Success Journey Podcast, your opportunity to discover and learn from entrepreneurs like yourself. This is not your typical podcast, but a place where you can get the real story and find out how real people encounter speed bumps and detours, but journey through to find success. Now here's your host for the Online Success Journey Podcast, Patience.
Hello everyone and welcome to Online Success Journey. This is episode 94. Are you ready to join the clan? Today we have Tim Han, the founder of the recent gone viral YouTube channel Success Insider, with almost 10 million reach worldwide and over 181k plus following. He has mentored and coaches thousands of business leaders and high achievers all around the world. Hello Tim.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you for coming. I know the client here is anxious to hear your story, so let's get started with the basics. Can you tell my client a little bit about your background, about what you did before you started your own online business? Take us right up to the last job or business before you are online.
Sure. So my, I suppose, journey began in Seoul, South Korea. That's the place I grew up. And I grew up with a single mum who, from a very young age, showed me the hunger, the vibe, the energy you really need to just contribute. Because when I was younger, I was far from rich or wealthy, and my mum had to just work day and night just to put food on the table. So from a young age, I witnessed this, and I believe I've carried forward this amount of energy, her willingness to contribute to the work that I provide today. And eventually, she basically met a person in the bar who soon we began calling Dad. And he basically was saying to my mum that he lived in England in a small town called Poole. And it was shortly after we were basically invited to move. And so did we basically go over. And so at the age of 12, I grew up in basically Poole. It's like 99% white people, 1% just the other ethnic minority. I was the only Asian person in my entire school other than my sister. So I had it real, I suppose, bad in regards to bullying because I looked very different from other people. And it was basically when I started high school, because I was in middle school for 4 years and went through bullying, really bad racism for 4 years. I started the high school and I promised to myself I'm going to just try to fit in with the cool kids. And cool kids at the time were hanging around in gangs, committing crime, doing drugs. And so it wasn't long until my life went towards that direction. And so I did, I suppose, a lot of things that I regret. And I would, today I kind of look back upon and think, wow, I can't believe that was me. But everything began to change when I was at the age of 17, when I came across one of my first inspirational talks, which was by Steve Jobs. And then that really opened up my mind. And a couple of days after, my mum took me on a very long walk because she found out everything I was doing at the time, which was, a lot to do with dealing drugs, as well as taking drugs myself. And when we were on this walk, my mum said to me, Tim, when I was younger, I had to work day and night just to put food on the table. I had to basically go to work the times that I didn't want to go to work. I had to literally just give it my all just to provide you with the bare essentials you needed, Tim. And she said, the question is, are you really going to be there for me when I need you? And that question really woke me up, and it was from there everything began to really change. That year I created a clubbing events business, had a YouTube channel that went viral at the age of 17, and it just really took off from there. So,
Wow. So you think boys, they shouldn't shy away from having real conversation with their mom?
No, I definitely don't think so.
Wow. Okay. Why do you do what you do, Tim?
Why do I do what I do? I believe for me nowadays is the giving, the contribution. I remember one of my mentors once said to me how everything in nature either grows or contributes. Otherwise, it's taken out the food chain. And I really found it to be true. how for a long time in my life, when I wasn't growing, when I wasn't giving, I found not only was I just really just struggling emotionally, but so did my finance accounts, right? My financial accounts. So today I am driven by a giving contribution and just really providing value to other people. That's what makes me do what I do.
What is the most dangerous belief an online entrepreneur can have?
I think the biggest belief that you can have as an online entrepreneur is to assume everybody thinks like you. Because for a long time in my life, I struggled in creating a successful online business because I was trying to come from it from my mind point of view, my belief system, my model of the world. The problem with that is even if you think you understand who you're targeting, realize this, nobody really thinks like you. Thus, the power will always go to those who can detach themselves from their model of the world and really see themselves from the eyes of others. So I believe that's probably the most dangerous belief you can have.
Let's put man aside because you are successful in a club business and now you started your online business and your YouTube channel is gone viral. So let's put man aside. How did you know you are successful?
Very recently, because I find one of the patterns I found that I was running that was hindering me from feeling successful was the fact that I was chasing something that I would have never really caught. It was an analogy that one of my mentors basically shared with me. He said how us in life, we are like a greyhound on a racing track, chasing that rabbit. No matter how fast you run, no matter what diet you've had, you'll never ever catch this rabbit. Why? Because by design, you're not meant to catch a rabbit. And for a long time of my life, I was always reaching one goal. And then straight after, I wanted to reach another goal. And I told myself subconsciously, I didn't feel successful until then. So I think only recently I came to terms of the fact that, I'm basically born to be successful. So it's an ongoing self-development, personal development for me. But I think it's very, very recently when I felt like, yeah, I made it. But do I feel like I am the final form? Definitely not, because I am a keen student of personal growth. So I think in a year's time, I'll feel even more successful, and then 10 years time, even more sort of thing.
Wow. I see you used to do drugs. Did you have someone to help you stop the drugs? How did you come out of that? Because many people, they find it really hard to stop that habit.
I think it all comes down to attaching a lot of pain, because I began to transition in my life when there was pain in staying and doing what I was doing. So the longer I stayed basically taking drugs, the more pain I began to feel. And so that's the key to long-lasting change, is to attach a lot of pain to where you are and a lot of pleasure of getting yourself out and actually moving forwards. And so I believe the moment also you want to change, you need to really make that law. Because I find so many people out there who, for example, set New Year's resolutions such as quit smoking, quit drinking. A couple months down the line, they're back to doing it. Why? Because just like any other, habit they've enforced upon themselves in the past, they haven't really made it a must. And so when I commit, I make it a law. It can't be broken. Simple as that. And I proudly, openly share it with everybody else, because the more I share it with other people, the more I feel like I need to be congruent with my new habit. So I did a combination of those things. I basically told everybody I quit. And also I made it a law subconsciously, so I knew I couldn't break it. And I had a lot of pain to basically going back to the past. So that's what I believe would be the real key there.
Wow. Okay, you passed through racism and you used to be a shy boy in school, but now you're a speaker. You go around the world. Recently, I saw you met one of the president. I can't remember where you met him. Sorry to speak.
Ghana.
Yes, yeah. Ghana. I didn't want to get it wrong. And you are really shy. So how did you pass through all that and put them behind and move forward? And by the way, I like your energy.
Thank you.
How do you work on that? Do you work on that every day? Every time you wake up in the morning, you say, okay, today is Monday or Tuesday, whatever the day is, I am going to be all hyped, pumped, or whatever. How do you do it?
it's an ongoing process, and it was definitely a hard, oh my God, one of the hardest things I had to overcome. It was definitely shyness, because on top of shyness, I had a condition called social anxiety disorder, which is an anxiety whereby you think everybody's judging you constantly. So I couldn't actually go to a shopping center and do normal stuff that people do because, for example, when I was walking on the road, I thought everybody was looking at me. And so I would get like shaky, like I would feel like sweating. It was terrible. And so I had probably one of the worst shyness that that has really existed. How did I overcome it? Well, it's to really understand our shyness, to really have a breakthrough, to feeling confident, is to realize your comfort zone, okay, is like an elastic band. Now, with an elastic band, if you just pull it gently and you let go, what happens? It goes back to normal, right? So if you pull it even more and then you let go, what happens? It still goes back to normal. So let me ask you, what happens when you finally just pull it all the way? You go all the way. Well, it eventually snaps. And that's exactly the same when it comes to your comfort zone and having that shyness breakthrough. So for me, I had to pick the most thing I feared. And that being was, at the time, was speaking to women. Right. So I was terrified of speaking to girls. So what I did was I found a group of girls. Okay, that was my biggest fear. And I just basically kept on approaching these group of girls in different scenarios every single day until it just really didn't become scary. And I'll be honest, like to this day, if I don't continue to push myself, I start to feel the anxiety again. So it's an ongoing process. And that's really helped me a lot, you know.
But Tim, one more question. You know, you can push yourself. You can say that if I go outside there, everyone will be looking at me. I can't stand and start speaking. They are going not even to understand my accent. You see, I have already many things before I even stand up in the front of people. So I'm like, do you have to do something like a ritual in the morning to psychic yourself to say that, okay, this is it. You are ready to go?
Definitely. I would say a ritual is definitely important in regards to grounding yourself. But I found what was, I suppose, more powerful on top of that was accountability. Because when I was approaching, let's say, my biggest fear, which was approaching girls, I had other people, my friends, by my side. And I remember I told them, hey, I'm going to go do this. Watch me. And now, because I've told other people I'm going to go do something, I'm more likely to follow through. If, on the other hand, I was just on my own, I wouldn't have probably done it. So I think accountability is a very strong motivator.
Okay. Can anyone be an entrepreneur, or are some people more cut out for it than others?
I think anybody has got the potential to be an entrepreneur. I suppose the question is, can anybody be, let's say, the next Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett? And I think to be honest, I would say that's questionable. Because the truth is, if everybody, you know, on this planet had the means and the will, the motivation to be an entrepreneur, well, the world would not function, because we need the people who are, you know, working 9-to-5 jobs, working, for example, as a cleaner. I used to work working as a teacher. And I believe everybody has got greatness within themselves, but I don't believe everybody can really get to that, you know, next level. And so what I believe is this: if you believe that you're born with some sort of gift or talent, whereby you see yourself being big as Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, I think that's a calling, that there is a potential that you can be it. Because I found more I immerse myself within personal development, the more I realized there's a lot of average people who don't understand this whole world, right? Even my own family to this day don't understand what I kind of do. So I believe you have to accept that calling and just move forwards.
Okay. Briefly, I know I talked about Ghana, that you are in Ghana. Tell us why were you in Ghana, and why did you meet the president in the first place?
We're looking to set up a very, very big project out there that's going to literally transform Africa. But we're starting with Ghana first due to the contacts we met. And so one of the contacts knew the president directly. And so she basically decided to bring us to Ghana. And so, yeah, basically the meetings with the president was to do with the project we're looking to launch in November time, which is going to be a big event. And we're going to speak and educate the next generation.
So what is the project all about?
It's all about teaching online business, online marketing to, for example, Ghana. It was the first time I was going to Africa, first time in my life. And what I realized about Ghana is it started its development at the same time as Kuala Lumpur, a place that I recently just came back from, literally yesterday. Okay. And what's interesting is Kuala Lumpur, KL, Malaysia, is so far ahead, so far advanced. And, as the president said to me, he said, that's proof that we got to really immerse ourselves in the tech industry, the tech world, because everything's moving towards digital. So the event will be in regards to teaching everybody online business, online marketing. That way they can really move with the times.
You think it will catch on in Africa?
That's our plan. That's our plan, is to basically do it in Ghana and expand further. But we need to basically pick one place first.
Okay, thank you. Please don't forget us, Tim. I'm down there in Uganda.
Of course not.
Okay. Do you have a mentor?
I believe I've got a lot of mentors. Yes, I've had a lot of mentors in my life, yeah.
Okay. What is the most valuable thing your mentor has told you?
Whoa, good questions. The most valuable thing, I've had a lot of valuable things. In regards to life or business?
Both.
Both. Okay. I think in regards to life, one of the best advice that I received, and it was very valuable for me, is because of, I suppose, my journey, and as well as the pattern I recognize that I run in my life, which I believe is very important as an entrepreneur to really understand what is the pattern that I'm running. The pattern I run is a high achiever pattern, which is we set big goals, we achieve the goal, and we feel like we need to achieve the next thing. And I remember, just like I was saying earlier, my mentor was saying to me about basically that whole achievement pattern and how we got to feel happy right now. Stop chasing feelings and just basically go out there and achieve the goals. Why? Because it's just right thing to do. But you're not achieving it because you want to feel a certain way. That really helped me to develop myself as a human being. In regards to business, I've had many, many business advice. I think if I was to, I suppose, pick one, I would say is to come from not a B2C, which is business to consumer, not B2B business. Always come from H2H, which stands for heart to heart, human to human marketing. Because he said how a lot of businesses nowadays, they don't treat their customers like humans. They just treat them like, yes, let me just get your money. So if you turn out to be a company that truly cares about your customers, you'll become the next Apple, you'll become the next Tesla. And this is really what's carried forward in regards to any business I've started. And it acts as a great an outline to any of the events I run. First thing I say to everybody in the audience is we are H2H marketers, human to human. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. What is the most valuable thing you have ever given away?
The most valuable thing I've ever given away, I would say, is probably my YouTube channel, because that was almost like a hobby I started about 16, 17 months ago because I just wanted to provide value. So I would say because it's really taken off, I would say my YouTube channel is.
Actually, I was going to ask you, tell us about your Success Insider.
Sure. So Success Insider started, like I was saying, about 16, 17 months ago properly when I started to upload videos consistently. And it's basically my mission with Success Insider when I began was by the end of 2016. Okay, so I was writing my goals at the beginning of 2016. I wrote the goal, by the end, I want to reach 1 million people. Had no idea how to do it at the time. Anyways, fast forward to the end of 2016, it did over 3.6 million hits worldwide.
Wow.
And then I realized, wow, I'm dreaming too small. So now my new goal, dream, and vision is by the end of 2020 to positively impact the lives of 1 billion people worldwide in teaching them, as a great saying goes, not giving a man a fish, but really teaching a man how to fish so they can understand their psychology and really begin to control their life and really craft a life of their dreams and create that freedom, I believe, that we are all born to live.
Okay. Some people who don't know what is the Insider YouTube channel, what should we expect when we go there or when we are listening to your YouTube channel?
I suppose expect no BS advice in regards to what I believe will keep you motivated, inspired, and keep you pursuing your dreams and goals. Because I find nowadays, even our closest loved ones and friends, they can actually be the ones that put down our dreams. And that's why I believe never let a small mind tell you your dreams are too big. And so it's important you immerse yourself, and surround yourself with winners. And I know when I began at the age of 17, because I still hung around with my negative friends when I was transitioning out, it's important that you listen constantly to content that empower you, because you're trying to get rid of negative hardwiring that's been enforced upon for years and years. And so that's what you're going to expect. You're going to expect positive content that's not negative news. It's positive content that can empower you to stay motivated so you can actually go out there and live your dream.
Wow. Tim, I know you said we should surround with the people who can improve our future, or put new positivity. Are you approachable? If I see you on the street and say, "Hi, Tim, I wanted to talk," can anyone talk to you?
Success Insider, ever since it's gone viral, it happens more often than I thought it would. So in Malaysia, about 3 days ago, I was in the airport waiting for the taxi, and then an insider came over and said, "Hey, I follow you. Please, can I get a selfie?" Actually, in fact, he didn't even say, "I follow you." He said, "Can I get a selfie?" And I was so used to it. I was like, okay, I assume he follows me. And that's why I asked him, "Do you follow me?" He's like, "Yes, I follow you everywhere." So are you, I suppose if you are a fan and you are an insider, you follow my work. Generally, I'm very open to a conversation, but am I approachable, let's say, at an event? I would say, I found this. I can't be too approachable when I'm speaking at an event in front of hundreds of people, because I found everybody wants to get your attention and you never end up really being able to rest. For example, during break, that's your time as a speaker to rest. And in the past, I thought, you know what, Tim, go all in. It's time to contribute. And so I remember during breaks, I never took the rest and basically just went out, and everyone wants to talk to me. So I just gave them advice. But nowadays, as soon as it's break, I go straight backstage and then I just rest, because that way I avoid burning myself out. And thus I'm able to provide better value and contribute more when I'm actually on the stage. So it depends when you catch me. But in general, as long as you're not there to, let's say, waste time or spread negativity or tell me about how negative everything is, I will be quite approachable, yes.
Oh, now you see, when you're at event, that's when some people, they have traveled far to come and see you. Tim is speaking. So please, next time, spare just 5 minutes. Well, that goes with everyone who's a speaker. Not only Tim. Okay, how can we find you and connect with you, Tim?
You can find me on YouTube. Go to YouTube and type in Success space Insider, which is spelled INSIDER. And you can follow my work there. And I think that's a great place for you to start immersing yourself in my work.
Okay. So clan, there will be more from Tim in a moment. If you are finding Tim's journey interesting and you are ready to hear more, come and listen to the full version of the interview at onlinesuccessjourney.com. If you are on online success already, click on part of Tim's journey and you'll get lots of more information, tips to help you with your own business. And don't forget, you can access all other online success journey interview podcasts on the site as well. That's a wrap, clan. Remember, success is a journey, patience and team.
This is not the end of the journey. We hope you've enjoyed listening to part 1 and want to be sure you know there is a second part to this and every journey podcast at onlinesuccessjourney.com, filled with even more success tips, uplifting stories, and even a bit of fun. There are dozens of episodes only available to the members of the Online Success Journey clan. Check out the website and click on Join the Clan for more information. Patience would like to thank you for listening to this podcast, and she has a free audio gift for you at her website. Go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for instant access to this gift. Of course, you know that listening to the journeys of others helps each of us chart our own path. So make sure you're subscribed to be notified as each new interview is posted. There are so many ways to stay connected to the online success journey and to listen in. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we appreciate your help in telling others. One of the best ways to share the benefit you get is to rate and review it at Stitcher and other sites by clicking the stars or completing the ratings form, by clicking thumbs up and leaving a comment on YouTube, or liking and sharing the podcast on social media. To review the podcast within iTunes, simply open iTunes to the podcast, click on Ratings and Reviews, then write a review. On behalf of Patience, and until next time, thanks once more for listening. It is our hope that this podcast will guide you on your own online success journey.